And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes.
All right, welcome to the show. Thanks for spending time with us here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Realty. Got some interesting content, of course, for today as well. There's a story that kind of hit the headlines here. Florida's largest HOA is unraveling the mess caused by its ex-board, costing in the millions. We're going to talk about that one. Also, real estate update from the chief economist, Lawrence Yun, from the NAR, that's the National Association of Realtors. And we have also Dr. Frederick McClimans making his debut to the Consumer Quarterback Show, and Megan Kise as well from Retreat, a regenerative wellness clinic right here in Tampa Bay, right off of Del Mabry. Great opportunity. Come out and learn more about what they're doing. We'll dive deep into that with some of the opportunities there to talk more about their business as well. And regenerative wellness, a really interesting term. We're going to have them define that for us and kind of talk about what they offer there at their office as well. Online at retreat-wellness.com, retreat-wellness.com. We'll talk with them here coming up. Before we do, a couple of hot listings. We always like to feature our real estate listings live on air and maximize the exposure and the profit for our sellers, maximizing the exposure and the profit for our sellers, decreasing the marketing time, helping you sell faster for more money with Keller Williams Realty. 9901 Bay Drive. This one's in Gibsonton. One of my favorite listings. Beautiful home here. You got a waterfront corner lot location just off of the Alafaya River here. It's 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 3460 square feet, just under a quarter-acre lot. And you're only 23 minutes from downtown Tampa. The way Dave drives, maybe that's 20 maybe that's 19 minutes or so. End of a quiet dead-end road with no through traffic. It's the last house on the street. Covered dock. You got your own private boat dock there. Kind of a tiki hut set up there on the dock. You got beautiful back screened-in lanai. Beautiful property here, vaulted ceilings, natural lighting, screened-in lanai as well. 9901 Bay Drive, Gibsonton, Florida. One of our hot real estate listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Beautiful property. How about a vacant land property here? If you're anybody looking to build, we've got 6374 Boatyard Drive in Hudson, Florida. This is another end unit. You have a blank canvas here, 0.37 acres, R4, Gulf front lot. You're the last lot. You're right on the Gulf. A great opportunity. 176 feet, a brand new concrete seawall and boat ramp that was recently redone. So you have your own boat ramp there. You can back your boat down, your jet skis into the Gulf and enjoy that Florida lifestyle to the fullest. Of course, you go fishing, kayaking, and all that good stuff. You got a golf cart friendly community here as well. 6374 Boatyard Drive, Hudson, Florida. Great opportunity to buy real estate right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. You can see all of our radio and TV. All right, let's welcome in our expert contributors for this segment. We got Dr. Frederick McClimans and Megan Kise. Welcome into the show. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit more about your business. What is the Retreat, and what do you do at the Retreat?
Sure. We are a regenerative wellness clinic. We opened here in Tampa in Carrollwood, just off Dale Mabry, about a mile south of Fletcher. And our goal is really just taking our scientific backgrounds and combining that advanced medical treatment with a calm kind of spa-like environment. So we want to help people look, feel, function at a higher quality, feel just like their best selves. So we offer regenerative and longevity medicine, aesthetics, IV vitamin therapy, medically guided weight loss, and hormone optimization.
Wow. Okay. So that's a lot there. Let's break down each one. Let's go through the menu of options there. So what would you say is kind of like your most popular? What do you...
So definitely our focus is definitely on the regenerative medicine option, biologics, exosomes, PRP, and everything that we can treat with that.
Yeah.
Our other services are adjunct. The hormone optimization is a big one because that really fits in with the wellness model as well. But the regenerative options, I think, are what set us apart from a lot of the other kind of med spas available in the area.
Okay. So, yeah, I love that because this whole, by the way, shout out to shout out to our mutual friend Dion Falzone over at Crown and Bull introduced us, and Doc, he told me, it really helped his golf game. He's doing a lot of good stuff with that, and he takes golf pretty serious, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's a good golfer, and so yeah, tell us a little bit about from your perspective, what do you whenever you're thinking about this type of the regenerative wellness, especially over your career, you've probably seen a lot of changes.
I mean, Brandon, when I started back in the mid-'80s, that's, I've been doing this 40 years. So I do a general orthopedic practice. This was not available at that time.
Right.
So through the years, and when Megan came on board about 20 years ago, I got exposed to it about 15 years ago. I had some issues personally with shoulders from old injuries when I was younger. And thinking I was going to need surgery, I didn't think it was going to help, but I went ahead and did it. And, it's been probably 13, 14 years. I have not had to go through the surgery yet.
Yeah.
And it's something that I believe in, and that's why we've kind of started this other business, and we're trying to put them together.
I love it. Yeah. And so how do you explain regenerative medicine and natural biologics, kind of in a way for the layperson to understand?
Sure, and it can be a little bit tricky, and I think there's a lot of information out there, but the most important thing, I think, is to understand the tools that we're using. So we use what are called Wharton's jelly products and exosomes, and those are basically tissues that are harvested from human umbilical cord tissue at birth. It goes through a tissue donor process, through FDA-approved tissue bank. So it's all screened for anything that could potentially be passed on. So that the products that you're getting are clean and safe products.
Right.
We also use PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma. That's when you draw blood from a client themselves. It gets spun down in a centrifuge, which separates the portions. The platelet-rich portion is then separated, and we use that. So all of these products are really rich in growth factors and signaling molecules. And I think that's the key, is that they help turn on and stimulate your own body's kind of communication and recovery system. Wow. So when we send those clear repair signals, then the goal is that patients can recover from their injuries, move with less pain, kind of recover faster, and get back to that better quality that they want.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds really cool, very interesting. And when you think about the PRP, I've even seen where you're spinning that down and pulling all the good stuff out, essentially, and putting in top of someone's head to help the hair grow, or putting it in other parts of the body. Is that right?
Absolutely. I mean, our background, like Dr. McClimans said, is in orthopedics. We've seen really great success orthopedically, but taking that outside of the orthopedic space into the wellness space as well, from a longevity standpoint. And then hair, as you mentioned, we can do treatments, kind of layered treatments. This is the type of stuff where it's not going to be an overnight approach where people are going to see results right away. It definitely is something that takes time with each treatment, and then layered treatments can be really beneficial as well. Yeah,
super cool. If you just joined us, by the way, we're talking with Dr. Frederick McClimans. He goes by Mick. We're talking, and also Megan Kise. She is the physician's assistant in the office there. The business is the Retreat, right on Del Mabry, right here in Tampa. Great location, awesome location. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, it's a first-class organization. When I came in, I had a couple treatments, and about 6 or 8 weeks ago, so I'm starting to feel it. I think it, like you said, it may take a couple different treatments. Who's an ideal client for you? I mean, it seems like it could be anybody from ex-athletes like me and Doc, or somebody that's just looking to maybe try to regenerate some hair growth, or get over maybe some old bad shoulder type stuff, things like that.
Absolutely. I mean, really, it could be anybody. Like you said, we've treated high-level athletes that are recovering from injury, or just kind of the wear and tear from many, many years of a sport that's hard on the body, but also just, normal people that have aches and pains from an orthopedic standpoint, looking for alternative treatments. Not everybody, is keen to either take the time off or go through a surgical procedure and the recovery process that's associated with that. So a lot of these procedures are, very easy to tolerate, can be done, just in office and with little to no downtime. So really anybody that's looking to improve their health, looking for those alternative things. We have budgeting at every price point too. So we have some options that are more economical and, higher end options for those really looking to make those longer term investments in their health.
Yeah. And it seems like this has been changing over the years, Doc, as you mentioned too. back in the 80s, but not much of this around, right into the 90s, and now here we are in 2026. You see, and I had a relationship with a former UFC fighter, Ken Shamrock, and those guys take a beating, a literal beating, right? And he was MMA fighter, UFC Hall of Famer now for many years. And when I first met him in Tampa, we had a business that we were working together and kind of doing the radio tour and things like that, but. He was telling me how he was having to go down to South America or wherever it was. I forgot which country it was. But is that kind of where this phenomenon started in a way? Like, did it start overseas? What's kind of the antithesis of this regenerative wellness?
Oh, I'm sure you're familiar with certain athletes, which I'm not going to mention their name, but they had treatment wasn't available here, so they did go to Europe or South America for that type of treatment.
Right.
But getting back to that, I mean, with the NIL, I mean, these kids coming out with the contracts these guys are getting.
Right.
You don't want to be laid up for 2 months, 3 months on a hamstring injury because that potentially is going to cause a drop in whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yeah.
And this stuff, whether it's exosomes or the mesenchymal products that are available, they can get you back, and they can get you back quicker.
Yeah, dropping your draft pick and a drop in your paycheck too, for those guys. So you mentioned NIL. For those that don't know, that's called name, image, likeness, and it's it's such a game changer over these last few years, where now the college kids coming out of school, the kids coming out of school, they're highly recruited. They're able to, get paid in college now. So you're talking millions of dollars on the table. There's been some pretty interesting. I think it was a Florida Gators quarterback. There's a whole story behind that. But it's interesting because there is so much on the list. Go back into the gym or whatever it might be, whichever type of athlete we're dealing with. Maybe it's a little bit more stretching. Maybe if it's a golfer, versus a maybe an offensive lineman or something like that needs to have the bulk and the mass, the body mass. But I think that's probably a big implication for some of those athletes, right?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's interesting to see. So, where do you see this medicine going? This is such an interesting space. It seems like we might be on the kind of the forefront of this thing.
I would agree with that. I think it's an ever-changing, process, and new products are available, frequently. And I think just as more and more people become aware of it, the awareness is grown exponentially. I would say even in just the last several years, we were seeing that in the orthopedic practice.
Yeah.
How many patients were coming in asking about it. There's been a lot more information in the news available with it, regulatory changes, whatnot. So I think it's going to continue to grow and get bigger, and I think people are continuing to look for options that are not surgery, and options not even just from an orthopedic standpoint, but from aesthetic standpoint, from cosmetic standpoint. I think the world in general is leaning more towards natural options and less synthetic and less artificial means. And so being able to take something that's generated from the human body itself, I think is really the future.
Yeah, Dave, scroll back up to that because I want to kind of go through the menu. So you've got regenerative medicine and aesthetics.
Yes.
You've got regenerative medicine and longevity, which is huge. So many people, want to live longer. What was it a few months ago when you had President Putin and Xi walking each other? That hot mic moment. What were they talking about? Living forever and mortality, right? So regenerative medicine, longevity. You got regenerative medicine and hair restoration, which we briefly covered, and then this one here was hormone replacement. So you do hormone replacement as well up there?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So we're working with we partner with a Pellicomb system, which is a pellet delivery device. It makes it a really easy process. We do a full consultation with lab work and everything ahead of time, discuss what the options would be, discuss where levels are and what an ideal point would be. And then we can schedule a procedure in office, really no downtime. And that hormone optimization is huge in metabolism and energy, libido for men and women.
Yeah.
So it can be really life-changing. And most people, once they start, really notice the benefits of it and will sing its praises.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've had friends and, you talk to them and they get their levels checked and they're like, man, I didn't realize it, but I'm like at 200 or 250. Mm-hmm. And then you want to be somewhere, around 800 to 1,200, sure, depending on the age or, maybe risk factors. But, I think a lot of people don't realize by having those hormones balanced and at a proper level, you're just going to experience so much vitality and, the sex drive or whatever it is you're looking for.
Well, you sleep better. And you actually look better.
Right.
One of the biggest things we see with it, too, is it's usually not even the patient themselves that notices the benefits right away. It's the people around them. They're like, you seem happier. You seem more energetic. You seem like you've got a little bit more to give, you know, and willing to do things.
Yeah, a little more gusto for life or energy levels, I think,
It ties in a lot, too, with, weight loss is a big thing right now, and we do offer a medically guided weight loss program, but it has a huge implication in metabolism as well. So sometimes, just looking at weight loss or just going on the GLPs may not be enough for somebody. If we can optimize their hormones at the same time, you can really see incredible benefit.
When we come back, I want to ask a little bit more. What is the GLP? And because I've heard some negative things about certain types of these shots. I'll go into that. I'll ask you between the break because there's certain things on whatever it was. I can't remember. I'll find out. Quick break. Right back. More with Dr. Frederick McClimans and Megan Kise here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. The Retreat, right there on Dale Mabry. What's the physical address for that location?
Sure. 11811 North Dale Mabry.
All right, 11811 North Dale Mabry, and also online at retreat-wellness.com, retreat-wellness.com. Quick break, right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Did you know that we buy houses cash? We can close quickly for a all-cash offer on your real estate properties, residential, commercial, even vacant land. We'll buy your property cash. No cleanings, no showings, and no hassles. You can even possibly stay in your home post-closing. Call Brandon at 813-917-1894. Submit the email at consumerqb.com or call 813-917-1894, consumerqb.com. We buy houses cash and fast.
Attention business owners, did you know we have 100% financing options available? Our no money down program offers 100% financing for business owners. If you are currently leasing your commercial space, you can purchase real estate for no money down. Additionally, the program offers money for working capital, equipment, and business fixtures. You can even pay off current business debt. Reach out at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. B Rimes at KW.com. And that is our 100% financing, no money down program for business owners. We would love to help you buying, selling, or investing in real estate. 813-917-1894. B Rimes at KW.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, the official Pinellas County restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Doug Clark, chef and owner Doug Clark, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Ours Creole Smokehouse, 310 East Tarpon Avenue, Tarpon Springs, ourscreole.com. Excellent food, wonderful ambiance. Say hello to our friend Doug Clark.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rimes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right. Team Keller Williams Realty, always featuring our listings on air. And then we'll come back and talk with Dr. Frederick McClimans and Megan Kise as well from the Retreat. It's a local business. We always talk a lot about supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our expert contributors. Great location here at 11811 North Dale Mabry. Stop in and say hello. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. And you've got online at retreat-wellness.com. We're going to talk more with them here in just a moment. Before we do, couple of hot listings here. 10001 Waterworks Lane in Riverview. One of my favorite listings, I love this one here because it's a commercial space as well. It could be operated as a commercial. It's kind of that area that could be residential / commercial. But you've got 2 acres on a lake here in Riverview, and it's a 1765 square feet. The owner currently uses it as office space for their firm, and it could easily be remodeled to buyer's specifications for office or residential space. And you also have room for expansion, of course, with 2 acres of land on a beautiful lake right here in Tampa Bay. Great opportunity to buy real estate at 10001 Waterworks Lane in Riverview, Florida. Another one of our listings from the Platinum MVP team. All right, we got a bar for sale also out in Plant City. This one's 5402 West US Highway 92, Plant City. We have the Finish Line Saloon for sale. Owner motivated. We just did a major price improvement here. 16 square feet. You got a third of an acre lot. Of course, it's a commercial zoning as general there. And you have the highly coveted 4 COP license. So that's a liquor license that will allow you to sell packaged liquor. You can actually go on location to festivals and events and things like that as well. You got 16 taps, ice machines, flat screens, all kinds of good stuff there. Finish Line Saloon. We've got a bar for sale out in Plant City. And tell your friends about it. Check them out online, consumerqb.com. You can see all of our experts at consumerqb.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, so we've got Dr. Mick in studio with us, also Megan Kise as well. She's the physician's assistant in the office there, and retreat-wellness.com, retreat-wellness.com. Check them out online. So, yeah, why don't we do a recap of services? You know, anybody out there kind of looking for, weight loss, you're looking for, maybe it's an ex-athlete like me. You know, I was a one-sided athlete, they call it, right? I played quarterback and I played pitcher and baseball. So a lot of work on the one shoulder, right? So I think, a lot of athletes out there could benefit from this. Who else do you see, benefiting from this?
Anybody, really. Anybody looking just to make long-term improvements in their health. Like we talked about, we've got a plethora of regenerative options. We have just a beautiful facility that's really calm, kind of spa-like. We really pride ourselves on offering that kind of concierge style. So when a client calls, you're more than likely going to get me on the phone. You're going to talk to me. We have, several other aesthetic services as well. As we mentioned, some IV vitamin therapy options. Oh, yeah. We do have a Diamond Glow facial machine that's offered by Allergan. It's a great, no downtime facial, just really nice for exfoliation and infusing of good serums. Leaves the skin looking beautiful. Microneedling as well. We do carry some retail products in-house as well. We're retailers with Skin Medica and Color Science, both really great product lines for people looking, and nice to be able to come in versus just purchasing online. But anybody that's interested, we would love to see people in office. Consultation is basically just come in, sit down, spend the time, get to know each other. I want to know what your goals are, what you're looking for. We can customize a treatment plan to address those goals. And it's really just a journey and a guided program throughout the process.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's the future of medicine, and it's a great way to kind of keep yourself feeling good, looking good, and the longevity factor. And then you also have vitamin IVs. People love those too.
Absolutely.
Especially after a long weekend, maybe a Gasparilla weekend, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Recovery, hydration, just hair and skin quality it's great for. We have some that support metabolism as well. So I like to say it's not just about, people trying to avoid getting older. It's really about aging healthier and just being the best version of yourself.
That's right.
Taking a proactive approach to things.
Quality of life.
Absolutely.
All right. How can people connect with you?
Sure. So online, retreat-wellness.com. You can also take a look at our Facebook page, the Retreat Regenerative Wellness. On Instagram, it's the_Retreat Wellness. And then phone number 813-738-4853. You're welcome to give a chat through the website as well, and we'll get in touch that way too.
All right, awesome. I love it. Good stuff. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it, guys. All right, coming back with Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title Agency. You're going to talk a little bit about the real estate space now. We got some latest stats coming out. The chief economist at NAR making comment. Also, crazy story. Florida's largest HOA is unraveling the mess caused by its ex-board. Find out about this HOA scam costing millions. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, always helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, investing, refinancing. We would love to talk to you. Senator Josh Hawley is launching an investigation into FICO. That's one of the credit scoring agencies. We'll talk about that. Also, we got a major HOA story. Everybody always loves these HOA stories, Jenny. Last time, that was our video that went over 1 million views, sitting a little over 1.1 million views about an HOA that towed a car. Today's HOA story is also kind of shocking because it's involving a scandal, a fraudulent scheme of these folks that were running the HOA, the management company, writing checks into fake vendors and all this stuff. So we'll get into that later on. But Jennie Restrepo joining us here in studio from Insured Title Agency, insured-title.com. We're going to talk with her. Give a little teaser of what we're going to talk about today, Jennie.
Well, you know how much we dislike fraud. So we're always here to tell you about fraud and how to protect yourself from fraud. So certainly we'll talk about this HOA fraudulent scheme, talk about ways to protect your property and your property rights, and then let's talk about affordability. How do you become a homeowner if you are not one right now?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And a lot of people are asking me about the update for, hey, what's going on with the property tax relief? Well, according to Grok, we just looked it up. It says, no, the Florida tax relief bill, a proposed constitutional amendment for major property tax relief on homestead homes, did not fully pass the legislature. It made it through the House, didn't make it through the Senate. I also talked with Representative Danny Alvarez about that off air. So hopefully they'll call a special session, get that back in the hopper, because I know Floridians would love to see property tax relief in the state of Florida. By the way, did you know that 2019, the state Florida property taxes were around $39 billion. And last year, those ballooned all the way up to almost double. They went up to $60 billion. So something happened between 2020 and 2025. There was something called COVID that happened.
Yes.
But then you also had, they're just, put it this way. When you give politicians extra money and they raise funds, they're not going to just give that back or donate it to charity. They're going to find a way to spend it, right? So.
Well, I definitely think that the difference between 2019 and now is, especially here in Florida, COVID brought a wave of people moving to the state of Florida.
No doubt.
And those people brought money from elsewhere. They were glad to pay over $100,000 more than the list price.
Yep.
And the deal with property taxes is when you sell your property, that new owner now takes over a new adjusted sales price.
Yep.
And so you could look at that. Plus, we have a lot of corporations investing in Florida. So they come in, and if they're buying investment properties, rental properties, when we talk about homesteaded properties, that's your primary residence.
Yep.
So the state is allowed to collect a little bit more in property taxes without the homestead exemption, which only applies to your primary residence.
Yeah.
So that could have initiated some of those changes in the budgets, but just knowing a little bit about what I know about City of Tampa, 80% of their budget is spent on police and fire. And so that is also funded by property taxes. And the word around town within the City of Tampa is that they're going to have to start tightening things up because there's not going to be money to pay for just the budget. I mean, the definition of a not-for-profit entity, which all of our local municipalities are, is that breaking even is the goal. Mm-hmm. This is how much money we need to pay all of our bills. So as long as we make the money to pay our bills, we're in a good situation. When there's a surplus, then you can look at, are we doing grants? Are we giving extra money? Like the state of Florida has Heroes,
Hometown
Heroes.
Yeah, Hometown Heroes.
Hometown Heroes, which helps with first-time home buyers for first responders, and they've extended that program. We look at home hardening grants, which help homeowners make their homes more resistant to hurricane and storm damage. So when you have a surplus, then you can look at reinvesting that in the community and giving additional grants and opportunities to homeowners. But if we're simply making enough money to pay the bills, which is repaving the roads, driving the school buses, putting books in the library, then that's considered good when you're talking about a not-for-profit, which is what a local municipality is.
Yeah, so there's a couple things I would counter on that. So Broward County Schools got busted for spending, it was over $100,000 for taking certain executives on a field day over to the Ritz-Carlton in Naples. I don't know if you heard about that one. So that's one example of fraud or wasteful spending. I don't know where fraud would be the line there. Then you also have down in Broward County, they had the gingerbread man. So they created like a gingerbread man, but it was actually all about the different genders that we have these days. I guess all of a sudden now, in 2,000 years of history of man, we have all these different genders, not just two. But anyways, I just did a search here too on Grok. It says that several recent fraud cases in Broward County, Florida, have resulted in arrest in 2026. No single massive bust ties directly to the failed Florida tax relief bill or widespread election property tax fraud, but authorities have charged individuals in financial schemes. So there's different cases here, but I think there's a fair share throughout the state, and Blazing Golia through the Doge efforts found $2 billion worth. So, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because that is the big question. How do we pay for it? What's going to make up the difference? But I want folks to keep in mind, it's just the primary residences, right? So we're not talking about all the Airbnb properties. We're not talking about commercial, vacant land, industrial properties, all these other property classes. And then going back to the original point is, if we had a baseline in 2019 of $32 billion in taxes, let's say we gave a 3% increase, or let's double that to 6%. That number's still not double. That's not $60 billion in property tax. So the politicians, the bureaucrats get a little bit gleeful in their spending. So we'll see what happens there. I got to move on to the next things here. So, but Jennie in studio with us. We're going to get to that hammocks HOA scandal coming up soon as well, and also Zillow's in a lawsuit. Jennie, big news with Zillow.
Say it ain't so.
What big did Zillow lawsuit do? Yeah, they got a big lawsuit going too. So we'll get on that here in just a moment. Before we do, a couple of hot listings here. We always feature our listings on air, and we help our sellers maximize the exposure and the profit on the sale of our real estate listings. We've got a beautiful property here at 443 Foxdale Road, Lake Placid. Lake Placid's in the center of the state, kind of God's country out there, a little bit more rural. Great opportunity here. You got 222, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, 14 square feet, quarter-acre lot, open floor plan, metal roof. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in a beautiful little small town. It's a serene setting. You got lakes everywhere, lots of great boating there as well. Super awesome little restaurants and shopping still in that area. The kitchen is generously sized. You have abundant counter space and cabinetry. 443 Foxdale Road, Lake Placid, Florida. Great opportunity to own real estate right here in Central Florida. 7154 Shoreline Boulevard. We got a Weeki Wachee Marina for sale. We have this commercial property listed, and yes, we sell vacant land, residential and commercial property. This is over a $3 million listing from the Platinum MVP team. You got 3/4 of an acre lot, well-established waterfront business with irreplaceable waterfront real estate. You have 3 different parcels there, multiple income streams, boats, kayak rentals, paddleboard rentals, dock space for commercial vessels, living space, and a retail store. You have also a long-standing team in place for service and repair operations with a authorized Suzuki servicer, motorboat repair business, flexible use, and I think there's extra room here, too. You can put some of that high dock storage, Jennie, you know, those things you see that.
I actually sent this listing to my friend who is also a real estate agent, but she loves Weeki Wachee, and they're just opening their new rental property there.
Yeah.
And I sent this to her. I said, by the way,
let's do it.
Next business venture for you.
It's so awesome because I think you could add a little right here. You put those high docks where, you know, they got the forklifts and they put the boats in there. You know, you put that up about 6 or 8 deep.
So many things that you can do.
Yeah, and there's people pay $700-800 a month to store their boat, you know.
For sure.
So there's a hot listing for you. 7154 Shoreline Boulevard, Weeki Wachee, Florida. You can see all of our listings online and search the MLS at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And you can see our radio and TV show expert contributors at consumerqb.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is
All right, Jennie Restrepo in studio with us. How's the market treating you? What are you seeing out there?
Well, the market is definitely, we usually see this time spring break, March, it picks up quite a bit. I've been reading different articles from Homes.com, from the National Association of Realtors, that people were waiting things out as we emerge from winter, which, by the way, we're in Florida, but I have been recently traveling. There's still snow on the ground in Boston as of 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So we have been in summer junior most of the time, but the rest of the country is just coming out of the thaw. So the market is thawing as well.
That's right. Yeah, it's a great time to be getting into real estate. Lawrence Young, chief economist at NAR, said the number of home sellers exceeds those of buyers pretty much all the time. He says maybe in certain micro districts and more desirable neighborhoods, there's a little bit more demand than others, but the gap showing excessive numbers of sellers in relation to buyers is not worrisome. If anything, the market needs more inventory, even in areas with super excessive supply, but if combined with fast job growth, and one can confidently purchase knowing that home prices, the home price declines are over. Long story short, right now is a great time to make offers. Get out there, see what's going to be accepted. You can get down payment assistance. You got the hometown heroes, as you mentioned. Yes. You have sellers that are willing to cooperate, maybe make repairs that they wouldn't make. Maybe they're going to paint some rooms for you.
I think that people can look at buying a house like planning to start your family. You're never ready until it happens to you. There's never going to be a perfect time. So if you want to, go for it. If you want to start a family, start your family. If you want to buy a house, make that happen today, because the search for perfection is never going to happen. There's never going to be all of the stars align. Right. And so one thing that we already know and can acknowledge is that owning a home creates generational wealth for your family. So there's no time like the present to start that journey. And there's so much misinformation out there about, well, I haven't been at my job for 2 years. I don't have perfect credit. Yeah. I'm an entrepreneur or small business owner. That doesn't matter. There's a program out there for literally everyone, as long as you have verifiable income and you are able to show that you can repay this, like we were just talking about. If you have a great rental history, like, let's help you make that work for you as well in increasing your credit score. So the best thing to do is, if you are on the fence, get off that fence and call the show. Yeah, do that. Because Brandon has an expert contributor for that to help you get started. Yep,
reach out to the show. We'd love to help you. Buying, selling, investing, refinancing. And let's jump into this story. This is an interesting topic. So you've got this Hammocks HOA. It's a scandal. It's a fraud scheme. The Hammocks Homeowners Association scandal is a significant case of fraud involving former board members who allegedly misappropriated millions of dollars. This scandal has raised concerns about the oversight and regulation of homeowners associations in Florida. By the way, DeSantis I believe he just signed a bill, or was working through as a way for members of an HOA to be able to more easily dismantle their HOAs. So key details on this HOA scam: allegations and activities, fraud scheme, board members, fake companies to disguise payments as legitimate vendor transactions, misappropriation of funds. It was estimated that over $2 million was siphoned off from these HOAs. Arrests, multiple individuals, including board members, accountants who've arrested and charged with crime. My question always is, how did you think this was going to end? Did you were just going to get away? It was going to continue? It was just going to balloon?
Well, I'm assuming they've been getting away with this for quite some time, because
but what's the end game? At some point, So let's look at this pie chart, by the way, or graph here that we have. If you're watching our TV show version, follow us online at Brandon Rhymes, one at CQB Show and Consumer Quarterback Show. But you see, this is from local news, ABC Channel 10. You've got about 12 individuals here that had one person had 14 checks for $88,000, the other had 31 checks for $200,000. Right on down the line, and they're going to these alleged vendors. So then you get the other side. So this guy here has $821,000 worth of work done through excellent services and work. Yeah, they were excellent, weren't they? Mm-hmm. And then it's Clima, CMI, whatever that is, Solutions, and then Nikki Trade. So that's how they did this, and it's bankrupting some of these HOAs, and also it's raising affordability, or I'm sorry, it's killing affordability for home buyers in Florida, Jenny.
Well, I don't know that I have met a homeowners association management company that anybody had anything positive to say about.
Oh, boy.
Because you have all of these imposed fees. And so, for the record, I don't live in an HOA community. But through Insured Title Agency, if you're not familiar with an estoppel, An estoppel is part of your real estate transaction if you're buying a property in an HOA community, is that the title company sends a survey to your management company confirming that the outgoing seller is up to date on all of their HOA fees, that there's no HOA fines or violations, and it confirms what the new buyer's monthly payment will be and how to make that payment going forward.
Right.
It's required because if you're buying in this community, that is an exception to, there are overlays to your home ownership rights. So if you buy a house that's in an unincorporated area, you simply have to follow the rules of your municipality. But if you buy a home in a homeowners association managed community, whatever those rules are, those codes and covenants are, you sign when you buy the house that you agree to abide by those. So if every mailbox has to be purple and every driveway has to be green, if you agree to that and you buy that house, then you have to abide by those rules of that community.
Yep.
So just like our last story where we talked about an HOA towing someone's $185,000 collector car, and those people got in trouble for it, but there's a lot of situations where, yes, you have to do this, and the budget, no one looks at the budget and who's on the board. I mean, my mother lives in Manatee County. She lives in an HOA community. She serves on the board. I don't know why. And she's always telling me about how they can't get quorum and nobody shows up for meetings. And so it's hard for them to pass any amendments because people live in the community, but they don't actually care enough to participate in the community and participate in the rules. So in this situation, how did they get away with it? Because no one was paying attention.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest example of a derelict HOA or condo association is the one in Miami where the whole building collapsed and hundreds of people passed away because the HOA didn't want to pay to fix the pool.
Yeah.
And they just kept deferring it and deferring it and deferring it and not dealing with it. And there were cracks and there was water leaking into the garage and there were all of the red flags and the warning signs. But nobody from the residents to the board to the local municipality was paying attention to it until the whole dang thing fell down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough situation. Jennie Restrepo, Insured Title Agency, insured-title.com. I'm your host, Brandon Rimes. Quick break, right back. Senator Josh Hawley launching an investigation into FICO. Find out a little more details on this. He's also urging the Federal Trade Commission to open its own probe, citing concerns that recent price hikes are worsening housing affordability. Consumer Quarterback Show online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rimes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Tired of long lines at the airport? Check out Tampa Bay's premier private jet source. I'm Brandon Rimes for Will Smith Aviation. Aircraft management, acquisition, and sales, luxury jet escapes, and packages. Check them out online. WillSmithAviation.com. That's WillSmithAviation.com. Or call the show. I'll put you right in touch directly with Captain Will Smith. AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com for all of your non-woke American-made products. American values, Christian, conservative American values. Say hello to my business partner, Jim McCune at AmericaFirstPatriotStore.com. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Say hello to Shane Socash, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, 4009 Central Avenue, St. Petersburg, online at DavidReynoldsJewelryandCoin.com for all of your precious metals and jewelry design. David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin.com. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for Jason Coble, owner of Coble Law. Coble Law has been handling injury cases in Tampa for the past 14 years and has a specialized approach focused on limiting client cost and maximizing client profit. TampaWorkCompLaw.com, TampaWorkCompLaw.com. Jason Coble, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, personal injury law, and work comp law. Hey, Brandon Rimes here for our friends at TargetSurveying.net for all of your survey needs. Land surveying firm providing services for real estate since 1992, and they are statewide. Check them out online, TargetSurveying.net. That's TargetSurveying.net. Selling commercial, vacant land, or residential properties? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rimes. You can reach me at 813-917-1894. Call or text 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb, like quarterback.com. Buying, selling, investing, or refinancing? We would love to talk to you. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty, Jennie Restrepo in studio with me. We're going to touch base on this story. Senator Josh Hawley launching an investigation into Fair Isaacs Corporation. It's FICO. That's your pricing strategies for credit scores using the mortgage market. So we'll touch base on that here in just a moment. Before we do, we'd like to feature our listings on air and help our sellers maximize the exposure and the profit. 1664 15th Avenue South, St. Petersburg. This is a commercial property close to downtown St. Pete. You have an opportunity to buy a commercial, and it's currently operating as a convenience store right in St. Petersburg. 2,060 square feet, motivated seller. It's in an opportunity zone as well, just 2 miles from downtown St. Pete. 1664 15th Avenue South, St. Petersburg, Florida. Another opportunity for a commercial business in Tampa Bay. 100 East Shell Point Road, Ruskin, Florida. This is a unique building. Check out this building here. It's got that kind of artsy feel to it. 6,758 square feet, mixed use. You have a half-acre lot. The zoning is RTC1. It's a 2-story commercial. You also have residential rentals there. So multiple income streams, again, from this property. It's a bold geometric design, modern aesthetic, truly stand out from the typical commercial spaces.
Looks like it'd be a great co-working space.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, Jenny, a co-work space, right? Bring people in there and have your businesses. You almost have like your own networking group in there as well.
I'm constantly looking for meeting spaces for lunch and learns and training classes and something like that where it's a mixed-use space that you could customize. That would be a great opportunity.
Plenty of parking there as well, rental space, retail. Great opportunity to buy real estate. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com, and you can see our radio and TV show experts at consumerqb.com. All right, so you got Holly investigating these FICO for credit scoring and the citing that recent price hikes are worsening affordability. So when you look at that too, and you're just thinking about, in general speaking, when somebody is late on a payment, that's the most detrimental, is a current late payment. Another misnomer that I've heard over the years is that if you pay off an old collection, you're bringing a new account, you're bringing that to a current account, even though you seemingly you did something good for your credit score, but it could actually bring your credit score down. Have you heard that? Have you what's your thoughts around credit?
Overall, I feel like the parameters and the rules for how they calculate your credit score are made up, and they are designed to disenfranchise people. And so if your credit worthiness to obtain a mortgage is based on a credit score, then my biggest question is, why isn't your on-time rent payment factored into establishing your credit score? Because it's not.
Yeah. So can you add that, though, as a trade line?
But then you as the individual person have to go out of your way to figure out how to do it, to add it to your credit report, to make sure that it's getting reported, to make sure you're getting credit for that. But then the person that you're paying your rent to has to also participate in that. So let's say you have a private landlord that's not a corporation. Why do renters have to jump through all of these hoops?
Most of them are. That's the problem, right?
They're not doing that. So let's say
most landlords are private. So for the credit scoring companies to be able to... But
even if you're living in a corporate rental property, they are not reporting your on-time rent payments to show. If you can afford to pay $2,000, $3,000 a month every single month and on time, why is that not? There is no explanation for why. Because it advantages renters and gives them an opportunity to become homeowners.
Yeah, and it's not a big company like a Discover, a Capital One, you name it right on down the line.
But if you miss your rent payment, they will report you.
Really?
100%. If you owe money to your rental facility, if you leave and let's say you had property damage above and beyond your security deposit and then you don't pay that, they will report you for that. So the capability is there, but the intention is not.
Yeah, I would think they should be able to do that. There should be a way to do that, and that way they can do that.
There is a way to do it.
Yeah, it's
but
an
the
alternative
intention has
trade
to be
line,
there.
I think is what you can do. So if your mortgage broker knows how to do it, I believe that the mortgage brokers can do a rapid rescore as well. So they can probably get that out.
So renters out there, get those rent payments counted towards your good credit.
There you go.
Because that shows your credit worthiness. What better predictive factor that you can pay your mortgage payment than I've been paying my rent for the last 3 years on time.
And you can also do your power company, your water bills. You can add those alternative trade lines that aren't necessarily
Let's just make that a thing automatically.
Yeah, it should be. I like it. Jennie Restrepo, InsuredTitle.com.
We covered a lot today.
We did. Insured-Title.com. Check her out online.
And follow us on all the socials on Facebook and Instagram. I'm always posting stories about how to keep your property and your property rights safe, or reach out to the show with any questions.
There you go. And we had Dr. Frederick McClimans on the show, and Megan Kise as well. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rimes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.